See if it's working. Oh, yep, it is
Hi.
officially on the little corner. It says we are live. Now, because we've had
Hello.
some tech issues, well, I'm going to check it out on my own phone to see how Jen sounds. So, Jen, you just keep talking
I'm just
and
gonna
I'll
keep
speak.
talking. I think that the subtitle of the show should be tech issues. Every week we're like, we have a tech issue. We got a little issue.
Oh, that is true. That
I
should be
think the
like,
sound should be pretty good now. I have a giant microphone just off this to the side that you can't see. But
oh,
so yeah,
professional.
let us know in the comments how the sound is because I think
Ursula's here.
hello, Ursula.
I mean, hey, Ursula, how do we sound?
She's like, nothing. I'm not gonna talk about it.
I'm double
Oh, nice.
you sound good. You sound good, I
Okay,
think.
awesome.
All right, so we did our little tech. We did a whole minute of tech. We're official. We got Get Mad with Chad the Lad is back in action.
Back.
He's got regular font, or they. I keep saying Chad the Lad. I'm not trying to gender you, but your fonts are back. And Ursula says, great. Yeah.
Ursula, I think you were returning as well. I think you were here once before.
Heck yeah. We've got 2 returns, and the queen has arrived, everyone.
Alley Cat! Yay!
I saw you on the Camp NaNoWriMo again. People are like, hi, Alley Cat, hi, Alley Cat, hi, Alley Cat. I feel so honored to be in your presence. Okay. Anyway.
I would love to hear about how Camp NaNoWriMo has been this week. Have you been doing it every day?
Talking to me or the Queen Alley Cat?
Talking to Queen Alley Cat. I would love to hear from her as
well. It's going well. I feel like I just need those. I'm not writing a ton of, like, my goal isn't gigantic. I never actually have done the NaNoWriMo, the novel, because, I'm not someone who writes novels. I write jokes. So it's going well. I'm showing up every day. I'm typing in, like, I wrote, 333 words today.
Nice.
It's going really good. Yeah.
I would really like it if you wrote a novel that was a joke.
Just
imagine how meta that would be.
It would be so unfunny.
People we don't do the art anymore where, like, you devote, like, 2 years of your life for, like, the small joke.
Yeah. Really put in the time and the sweat and the pain.
I miss that. People don't have that kind of time to spare.
I know. I love that we're chatting, and I'm just going to highlight people just chatting and being friends in the comment. I love it. I love it. So I'm having a great experience with it. Again, I'm not somebody who puts added pressure, and I really liked the last one, which was yesterday. It's always on Wednesdays, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. And there was some really good sort of interesting prompts and deep thinking, and the gal, I can't remember her name, I apologize, was talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine and sort of the idea of writing your conflict or your thing, your event, writing it really early, and then, like, see what happens after that. See what happens after. It was really interesting. Yeah, so I like that one. You're sounding a little bit different now, Jen, like you went under a pool.
Oh, I do?
Oh, now you're back. Maybe it was just my head.
I think I was talking quietly. I just wasn't screaming into the microphone like
well, speaking of
like that, they always say, like, start your story at the very last minute, like the last second you possibly can, which I think is a similar thing. And then, but yeah, starting with your conflict or, like, your biggest thing is very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, I liked it as well. And I think, well, speaking of, I don't know if we want to call this conflict or talking quietly. Jen's had some stuff this week, right? So that has made our topic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the topic.
Constant headaches for 4 days. Migraines, I guess. I'm new to the migraine world, but I won't be for long. Yeah, so I'm actually doing okay right now, and which is why I can talk and move my head. Normally I'm like this. But yeah, so we wanted our theme to be headaches, because why not? Aren't we all just living in one big giant headache?
just one big pressure squeeze.
This monthly headache.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do for our prompts. We're still going to do the typical thing. And we know it's a lunchtime, so everybody, this is a quick one. We're not doing 20 minutes, like 20 minutes. We're going to aim for 5, 10, and 15-minute writing prompts. So we're going to do some sprints. We're going to have some prompts, hard to talk. Jen, I'll do the tech. You tell them how to do it.
All right, I'm ready. Okay, guys, so we're going to do 3 separate prompts and writing sprints. So the first one's going to be 5 minutes. I'll give you a prompt. You use it however you want. You can change it up, make it nonfiction, whatever you want to do, or just skip it all together. And then we're going to free write. So I encourage you to just not think. Don't take your hand off the page or your pen or the typing. And see, I can't talk because of the migraine.
Not thinking I'm into it.
I'm just going to give you the prompts now. All right, ready? This is our first prompt for 5 minutes. It is, your character is suddenly hit in the head. What happens next? Your character is suddenly hit in the head. What happens next?
On your marks, get set, right. And as usual, these are in the description as well. Oh, Jen, sorry about that. I wouldn't even think about, oh, stop it, how that would hurt your head.
Oh, no. It was totally fine. That doesn't, no,
Okay.
it didn't hurt my head at all. I'm
I
actually
was,
doing well. Excedrin migraine does seem to be working.
yes, the
Not a
old caffeine. Not sponsored, not sponsored. Okay, well, the 5-minute one, always to me, it feels like a nice, like little brain dump, a little scattery, but I feel like I need it. I feel it's like stretching before you're like doing actual sprints.
I absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting your head into it and like getting focused a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to share anything, I mean, I understand that 5 minutes is, but if you've got a word count, or if you're like, oh, I thought of a great idea, always feel free to share, of course. I actually did. It reminded me of something. I was thinking of like stories. I'm like, oh, what are stories where like people have been hit in the head or they lost memory and I remember that I really wanted to, just as an exercise, redo the 80s show Dream Team. Do you remember that with Michael Keaton?
Do.
Yeah. And Christopher Lloyd. Anyway, and I wanted to do like I was like, I want to redo it, but of course, like it was kind of like the time of Ghostbusters, like do an all-female cast and like do all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, I would love to do that. And I was thinking, but I would love to do something like that, but a little more like Twin Peaksy, because I think for me, like getting hit in the head always reminds me of this sort of surreal, like self-doubt, like gaslighting almost. Like there's just a really creepy element to it.
Like
So I'm like,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. And that idea of like even like playing with light and shadow. So I was just kind of jotting down a bunch of ideas, and I was like, is there a show like that already where it's like comedy and also this sort of surreal Atlanta is totally like that. I remember reading an article by Donald Glover that was like, yeah, he wanted to make a show which was like obviously Atlanta, talking about race, but also like Curb Your Enthusiasm and like Twin Peaks. And I was like, oh yeah, that's already been done.
Russian Doll is kind of like that too, where it's funny, it's humorous, but it's like it's like this kind of surreal world. It's like the Groundhog's Day, and like, is she dead? Is she, that kind of thing? And,
I like when if something wanted to do with like your head, always to me seems like almost psychosis, internal psychosis. Like, what have I done?
She's getting hit, damn it, her body's getting damaged constantly.
Yeah,
and,
And I just ended up starting about at the end, just writing about Atlanta, how much I like the woods episode. I was like, yeah. We've got some word counts up here. Nice, Ursula.
Oh,
nice
good.
job.
She wakes up to a pair of shoes. Woo.
Pair of shoes with no feet in them. Whoa. That imagery.
Waking up to shoes with some feet in them. And nothing else.
Jen always goes to the gothic. Always goes to the macabre.
Thought when I read that, I was like, oh, geez.
Oh, amazing. Also, for every prompt, I'm going to switch my glasses because I'm trying different glasses, everyone.
Oh.
So we've got those, and also we've got these.
Where do you get your glasses from?
Well, the ones that I always wear are like 12 years old. I don't know where they are, but I got them at Lens Crafters, and I got them because they were $100. They were so cheap, and I love them. But these, Jason ordered some Warby Parker frames.
Okay, I'm gonna do that because everybody. Yeah. I need some new glasses.
These ones,
my face.
I really like large glasses, and so these are just a little small. I'm not used to the like framing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see, everyone. Let me know what you think.
I love.
All right, enough. So what about you? I skipped you, Jen.
No, you're fine. I was working on a character that I've just worked on before, and I just kind of was, playing around with like her getting hit. I whenever I think of characters being hit in the head, I always think like sort of Nancy Drew, where like she was the detective and she was just constantly getting hit in the head. That was kind of the main way to like pass time. So like she would find a clue, they would whack her in the head and she'd pass out and then wake up and then something would, like the clue was gone. Like that happened a lot.
I feel like that's my early 20s, but not with booze. It's like a lot of plot happened.
So it's a great way to just like create more of a mystery because you're like something happened, like somebody hit me and then like things are missing,
Yeah.
something important is missing. So it's a
Yeah.
plot device from Nancy Drew and your life.
Yeah, but also I keep talking about movies because I think they do this really well visually, like something like Memento, you know, where it's like it is you are having to find this mystery, and part of the mystery is your own brain makeup. That's interesting, you know.
Yeah,
That's
I like
interesting.
the idea of like a character like just having to figure out what they missed themselves, like they lost that time, and
Yeah.
and also that sort of idea of that you can hit somebody so hard that you knock them out, yet they wake up and they're fine. Like Nancy probably have some really serious concussions.
They'll show up later in life. I was a little kid. I used to hit my head a ton and just pass out and then be like, I'm fine. I would like go up on the and we're real chatty today. I would go up on like the like I don't know, like the swing sets, but I would go on the top and like walk on and then just fall off and be like be out.
You knocked out. See, I would fall and hit my head all the time. I never knocked myself out. Like my head like made of stone.
No, that's nice.
Car accident when I was 17 and it hit my head. We found out later it was on the windshield, between the steering wheel and the windshield, and it cracked the windshield. Never passed out. No blood.
You're like a superhero.
Walked away from it. It's that hard Irish German head.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm very impressed.
Anyway, all right. So now that you guys know where our headaches come from,
I really think we talked out the origin story of our theme this week, smashing our head.
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll get the timer going. I'm always like, we don't want to have chatty ones, and here we are.
Second prompt, you guys, 10 minutes. What is the worst thought you or your character has ever had? 10 minutes. What is the worst thought that you or your character has ever had?
On your marks, get set, right. Okay, I saw it coming, so I tried.
No, it's fine.
Tried to get it.
I'm very soft on my thing. That was really fun. I was
You
a
got
good
some
one.
stuff? Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. I did read a little bit because I'm doing some trying to get the banners up, and so I was in the comment section a little, and I have to highlight this. Get mad with Chad the Lad. Me writing about trauma and panic attacks. Them. What's the worst thought your characters ever had? And they're like, oh no, sorry.
That's so funny.
Oh, but yes, I do think that this can get those like putting those extremes right on those like internalized things, whether it's your character or you, can bring up some stuff sometimes, right? Did you
Yeah.
did you find you said that you found it fun? Did you find it to be personally challenging, or are you like?
Well, I did a character, so that's probably a little bit different. So I wasn't like writing about my own. Yeah, I'm interested. Was everybody kind of doing their own worst thoughts?
Yeah, I started out with a character, and then I got a little more personal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I kind of
Mine was it was one of my characters from the bachelorette party, and the story I've been working on and off for a while. And she is basically, kind of like she would just rather that that the bridesmaid's body didn't show up until the party was over. So, like, she just rather that it didn't ruin her party. Because so she basically kind of goes through all of her guests and is kind of like, listen, like I wasn't, we've only been friends for 2 years. I'm not that attached. Like we probably wouldn't be friends after the marriage anyway.
Oh wow,
yeah, it was real cold.
Gotcha. So really like pushing for her day at all costs.
Yeah, just kind of would just rather it wasn't ruined by someone's death. So
oh man.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So it was fun. It was just like a fun, dark, place to go with in someone else's head.
Yeah, I think that is sometimes like, you always hear people, and I've had experiences like playing like a villain, just playing a character that's a villain. It is so fun because it is like an exercise of an extreme thing that we all internalize, but we're like, what if? That's fun. It's fun to play.
I mean, you're not doing this. This scenario is not happening, but it's just it's fun to explore that type of thinking, which seems shocking and awful. But we probably all had elements of when we were through somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I started doing a meditation a lot, and there's that happens when you take some time to really like slow down. All of these thoughts that are quite like violent and horrible come in, and it's just part of it. Like you like, oh yeah, but to be like, oh, that's in there, and then you just like let it go. But to be able to explore it with another character, I think it's got to be one of the fun things.
Yeah.
About writing is like you don't have to necessarily let it go. You just play in that world for a little while. It's kind of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I started. So I started with Vera Stanhope, which is just the character of a detective novel that I kind of read every once in a while, and it was just fun to start with someone. And then I eventually I'm really kind of writing about like what I'm watching and what I'm reading. That's kind of filtering through the whole process. Anyway, so I started with Vera Stanhope, and then I was thinking about like older women and what they would think about, and then my sister sent me a text message where I started writing a scene with my niece and her grandma. And I started writing this scene where this older woman was being really frustrated with her granddaughter because she wasn't doing numbers and reading quickly. And she's getting this sort of vile. And she realized in her like sort of lashing out that like she wasn't allowed to graduate, like all these things, like she was passing on pain. And caught herself thinking these horrible things about this innocent girl that she loved. And like, it got like, ouch. Yeah. Those sort of horrible things you think about someone in your life when it's really like the stuff that you've been hiding from. Yeah.
That's always about, that too. And it's interesting that she is aware, that she becomes aware of it, because a lot of times people, like characters or even actual people, like they have no idea.
Yeah.
That on.
Well, and in the story, and it was kind of like an outline because I was really, kind of bouncing around where it was the reaction of the girl itself, like how she looked at her. She didn't even realize she was passing on this sort of like pain Yeah. And I think the reason that that came up, like those three things, is like, because I also just, I talked about this last time, I just finished reading The Color Purple, and I think they, like, the main character there is so beautiful and fascinating because she has this thing happen and she's like able to grow in this really wonderful way. And I was like, oh man, I would love to write a character like that, going through this process of pain and then kind of taking the pain out.
Yeah.
And then coming through on the other side of this like magnificent like growth. Anyway, so we got real deep.
Yeah, I love it. Who knew
Yeah.
it's the headache theme?
Yeah. What do we got here? Ursula's. She got a character. Although I wouldn't. This has crossed my mind. So yeah. See again, like playing
Yeah.
with this sort of the other side of the psyche. So we want to do a 15-minute one because I feel like that's where we get our beefy stuff. So we've got time.
Yeah.
Let me.
Okay. Are you ready for the prompt?
I am getting ready. So you just go for it.
All right. This one's kind of wacky, but it's fun. Your character wakes up with a creature the size of a baseball on their head. The creature begins talking. What does it say?
One more time, just for the fun of it.
Your character wakes up with a creature the size of a baseball on their head. The creature begins talking. What does it say?
And I'm already get set. Yeah. So good. Oh, no warning. I never give any warning. It just happens. Let me just finish my sentence real fast.
Oh yeah, those too.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, we did. We had a 15-minute prompt. I changed my glasses. I forgot. Also,
oh, you did.
Yeah.
Those are cute too. I like the black ones though. Those looked great.
Yeah. Thanks. I had a little bit of a Harry Potter vibe, but that's okay. So we'll see. We'll see. So how did it go? 15 minutes. Did everybody get some word counts? Do you guys have some sentences you want to share? Whatever you want to share, we're down. While you're thinking about your sharing, we'll talk about ourselves.
Talk about our own writing. That was, again, very fun. I really like these prompts.
Yeah, you did good.
Bizarro Land. I just kind of created something new, and it just had this girl had been out partying all night, and then sort of wakes up with like a splitting headache from drinking, and then it just like voice starts talking to her, and she at the end she realizes that it's another head on top of her head.
Yeah. So just a giant regret.
Yeah. What you bring home from the bars.
Yeah, I found this to be really fun too. I kind of took it in a different, a little bit of a different direction where I had like a relationship. They've been like stuck together for a while, and it ended up being a ghost, so like no one could see it or hear it, but it was still there, present, and this guy just had it with him forever, and it and it was just like a chatty older lady, like a ghost, like an old ghost, and it just became noise, and then on the train to work in his very like mundane life, he met somebody who like recognized, who could see it and was related to the ghost.
Oh wow!
So
it's a love story.
Yeah, she was like, "How do you know her?" And they were both, the ghost and him are like, "More company, yeah." Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it was odd. It was I think odd prompts can sometimes make for odd relationship stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this word count. The creature was the creature superego. Yes. Very impressed by your word count, Ursula.
I know, that was really good.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, where she sort of thinks it must be a ghost because she's in a small room, like a small bedroom, and she just doesn't see anyone. There's really nowhere for anyone to be. So she's like this, oh, it must be a ghost, it must be a ghost. And then, she like reaches up and feels something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That is kind of fun though, like that I didn't write that part of like that sort of physical horror, but you're like,
something in my head. I can't remember. It was like one of those. Remember like the Hitchhiker, like on USA, like they had all those like Ray Bradbury tales and stuff like that. I feel like there was one where like the man's like head gets cut off and like sewn back on, and he wakes up the next morning and he like looks under his scarf and it's like the scar, of his head.
Yeah.
Idea of that, where like you just, you have that, like it's like this physical thing now that actually nourish.
Right, like a physical manifestation or whatever, like, cautionary tales or like, mistakes you've made are like there.
Just on your body.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Again, I see a lot of these are about my 20s.
I know what to say. It's like, yeah, like if you get pregnant unexpectedly, not that I did, but I'm just saying that.
And if you did, this is a judgment-free zone, hey? You know? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I like this idea of like having a relationship. You know, Ursula mentioned talking about like the character super ego, of that sort of moment of like there are multiple versions of you, and then meeting in some kind of interesting way is great. It's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm interested to know like what people's voices sounded like too, like the other voice.
Yeah.
Is it different than their voice? Is it complete? Like yours was like an old woman, and it was like in like a man, and so obviously there's. I think that's something to find out. Mine almost sounded like Higgins from Magnum PI.
Very specific.
I mean, if you happen to be a Magnum PI fan, some of us are. And like the real Magnum, not the new Magnum. Nobody wants that.
Does anybody want any of them is the real question. I mean, no shade. No, again, judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free zone for my
right. You're right. You're right. You called me out. Rightly so. Rightly so.
I think that's a good play with too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. That is great. Like, because I think they do, especially if you're reading it. You know, I consuming it visually, especially if it's sort of something sort of grotesque or whatever, different. But when you're reading it, there definitely has to be a clear voice.
Yeah,
a clear difference. Yeah. Well, we did it. We did another lunchtime special, which is great. Now we are not doing a bonus because this week's Jen's birthday.
My great birthday!
Lights up, silent time birthday. But we will be back next Thursday, same time. And good luck to everybody who's camping, Camp NaNoWriMoing, or not. So happy writing to you. I'm sure we'll see you in Ellie Cat, see you in the virtual places. Do you want to leave us with some words of wisdom as you are tend to do?
Oh man, I always forget about this. This is just really a fun story. Someone smashed our mailbox with their car.
Oh.
And, apparently I don't know where you get new mailboxes. So
Santa Claus.
Does the neighborhood give it to you? Do you have to go out and get your own? Where do you buy a mailbox?
Maybe it would just grow up from the old mailbox.
Possibly. That's what we're hoping for. We just kind of mushed it back. It's not tacky at all.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So
yeah. Well, that's great. We've got some, I feel like, solid advice, or maybe help Jen get a mailbox. So we've got some answers to her question.
Muppet Babies cartoon.
That's great.
Super specific, not Miss Piggy, but Piggy from Muppet Babies.
Yep. Allie's doing a photo edit, always working. Ursula's so supportive. Happy birthday. And we got Lauren giving you a little happy birthday shout out. Yeah, totally. So thanks, everybody. We've got an answer to your question. Thank you, Ursula.
Hardware store. That makes a lot of sense. There's
practical.
I was making it way more complicated than it needed to be.
You're trying to fix it. I'm thinking of some magical growth process. Oh,
If you bury magic beans in the ground, then you'll get a new mailbox. That's how you do it.
Well, I feel like that we ended on a solid note of nonsense.
Right.
So until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.